This is a improvisational piece that we are collaborating on, myself, Michael Costello, Chester, and Jesse Bercowetz. The first idea, as far as I understand, is we were going to use another artist that was going to use the space, and I proposed to him to do a improvisational painting or a collaborative painting between the two. Then we went from there, and we thought that we might want to do this on the cheapest possible way and take black tar paper and use that and totally use a non-traditional format of, laying down the paints, working into each other's painting right over continuously.
We've got about 104 foot by 9 foot painting. It's all one painting. And immediately putting all that black tar paper up closed our space in around us. And we started feeling kind of cramped, and I guess, I don't know, I was very intimidated by all the space, but we just kind of band together and started laying things out. And it took a couple days, I guess, to lay things out, and then most of the stuff that we started out with you can't even see now on these paintings because we've gone over things and worked into it. And
as far as like dropping, like blocking it out, the first night we had all the canvas covered in certain areas, like sections. It was like he was in here with a roller and just going into the canvas, going up and down, over, and I was trying to do some big things. Like some of the first things that we laid down that are still here and still very apparent is like this thing that Jesse started out with, the red line, and trying to cover as much area to bring like a central a balance between that. And then we've reused different, like the colors throughout the room. As you go through, you'll see that this red is used in different areas to relate it as one. We've done this along as far as with bringing in these gun dichromate photographs that I made after making slide transparencies. So
we didn't stay on one section of the painting for a whole night. We hit almost every section each night. We didn't stay in one place. We hopefully, by bringing the images and the different techniques of painting and the colors and combining them on these different sections of the painting to bring the whole painting as one, because it is a chaotic mess, and we were hoping to tie it in maybe a little bit, the whole piece,
Yeah.
And this is just motion, it's just like.
My initial reaction is kind of overwhelming because there's so much stuff to look at. And then it's neat because you can go in to each individual piece and see all of the different segments to it,
Let's say nothing's precious. We can paint over whatever we want to, and it's just not precious. We're just using basics and semiotics as far as using symbols. We've even made our own symbols. If you want to pan in here, you can see I've gone through and laid this kind of like a hieroglyph or a contemporary hieroglyph using line and form in different areas, and there's one that's over here in this room, and they're carried on over here. We're still working a little bit here, and right through here. Jesse's approach is a lot more rougher and broad, it's like laying down the color, broad strokes, and then working into it and stuff like that. My stuff, I like to line a lot. He's kind of we've been using each other, kind of off-balancing, sections, using his broad pattern, and I'm going in and working certain areas, and he's putting a mythological creature, female, that is definitely, I wouldn't say appealing on the a beautiful sense, but in another sense it could be very beautiful to someone else. I think we were trying to approach this with the just trying to throw as much different ideas onto one place and try to wrap them into one.
It kind of stimulates more senses also. It makes me want to touch it a lot.
This is all America. I mean, there's freaks. It's just, very violent imagery, and like this FTW, fuck the world, which is basically a biker term mainly. I mean, I'm sure it's not just a biker term, but it's and I just think that's real important, and sideshow freak shows and things like that people really get some kind of sick enjoyment out of. It's interesting, and it does happen, and hopefully we're just combining like this eclectic mass of imagery and energy, and I guess there's a lot of eye candy also, and plus a lot of our own maybe dreamscape type things, and hopefully the outcome will provoke people to think and maybe like lead them somewhere, but not continue the path and let them weed their own way through, and come up with their own interpretation.
There's so much in there, I mean, it's like there's violence and love and sex and sort of all the emotions and the way young people are feeling today, I guess. I mean, I don't feel like that, but I can see why they do. If I was their age, I'd probably feel like that too.
It's kind of depersonalizing. Like, to pick out one image that's just his is almost impossible here, because I've gone back in and done something to it. See, we're trying to connect that and make it obvious that it could be considered, one painting by two persons working on this, We're taking this, the approach of taking these images and putting them onto a flat plane that is creating an environment. If you pan through the room, you can see that when you go in, this is all around you. There's not any one single meaning happening here.
And it's like, there's so much at once that I don't know if they're going to have time to digest the thing that they see here that they connect with, or that they hate, or that they think is beautiful, because it's, out of this side of their eye, their peripheral's covered with different things, and I just think it's gonna be really hard. It may assault people, visually.
It's very big. There's a lot there. My first reaction was, what's that painted on? Is that like roll roofing type thing? Really? I thought that. I'm a building inspector, so I know these things. Yeah. No, first thing I got on my glance was the spiked hair there, the red spiked hair. And then I saw the eye of God, and then I saw the serpent above it. So, interesting though. It's all right though. Could go without the plastic, but one little, two little, three little piggies. That's a classic.
Laying anything on black, especially some of the bright colors. First, he was like giving me all this shit about, well, this is kind of a, looking like a 70s tie-up, because I was doing all these and I was doing all these big line drawings, and they look like something out of like a Grateful Dead album cover, It's like, pretty scary, and then he would go in and work into it, and it pulls something out. Like, we've been talking about this form right here. This has just kind of happened, but it's created kind of more depth to the painting and to what's going on there, and then it's pushing this, because this is a warmer color. It's going to push something a little more out for the visual. And then you walk around. We take stuff, like we were driving up to the north side one evening actually, we were working, and I saw this license plate that said "For Cruising." I thought it'd be kind of neat. Let's put that on there. So it's kind of, we're throwing humor at it also. This isn't it's not a hate painting. It has elements that are related to hate, but we're not saying we hate this and so forth. Some people might get this like during the 40s, where Hitler was saying all these artists were doing this degenerate art. We're doing more of it could be a lot on the mass. A lot of this stuff is going to definitely offend. This right here is the largest panel. This measures 28 feet long by 9 feet high, and this was probably this one that we of course the first night we did this, we were like, cool, man, we covered all this stuff. And he's up here on this ladder, man, I'm gonna put a dragon on here, and he's like taking this orange dragon and carried it over. And I thought it was pretty neat how I thought it could be just one, but to carry it over and keep connecting the sides, he's brought the tail around. And a lot of this stuff, a lot of the myths that are created in society have already been done. We're just, putting them into a different definition or something like that, and using them. And then just like stealing. Oh yeah, we're stealing, but we're also, incorporating it into possibly like a more contemporary setting.
Well, I think there is some television imagery, and I think there's also some of our own fantasy imagery, and everything from coloring books, comic books, neon signs, alien messages. It's endless, you know. It's basically a way for me. It's a therapy for me in order to get a lot of this stuff out of my head. I'm putting it down and I'm combining that. There's no set direction. We can combine, we can contradict, and it's a nice play on words and images because and just like aesthetics. You know, a lot of this is very, very ugly stuff, but it's beautiful. I mean, just as far as the way the paint is applied.
It would be really fun if you could actually walk into it, if it would be, you know, another room that you could enter in and all that stuff would be around you. It almost looks like you could do that.
By opening these windows up while we're working and leaving the lights on, people can see this evolve and they can see it process, which is a thing that they don't usually see in a gallery. You know, that's usually something they don't really know how it happens or what goes on. They just see the finished product, you know, which is basically just the waste, the artist's waste, because whatever they were doing, you know, could very well be the art, and whatever was affecting them could be the art, and this stuff could just be like, excuse me, their waste, you know, and so they're getting to see the art, and I think that's really neat, the process.
And I've watched it over the past week and a half, sort of being installed and finished. So I have a little different perspective, but it's one of the best shows I've seen at the 431 Gallery in a long time.
It's like just layer after layer, just by the way we've painted over things and then painted back over and painted halfway over, like this is a leg, or it's a brush mark, I don't know. Things overlap, things don't make sense, things aren't correct. In this corner, there's an image, and you expect, you know, something to follow up and something to maybe explain this image, but instead you get something totally different that just yanks the rug out from under you, you know? And like this image over here, dead, you know, a dead dog, okay? A mailbox. See, I don't even understand half of this stuff yet. I don't know. It may not mean anything, or it may, you know, I get a lot of other people interpret things for me, and it sounds really good. But the whole idea of, you know, of deceit and, you know, mailbox, angel, glyphs, you know, ruins or hieroglyphic type imagery. You know, nose, ancient dragon flying across the top, you know, theft. You know, theft, oh, that almost sounds like something, you're talking maybe about something, some type of moral thing. But, so maybe these guys are trying to make a statement.
But the multicolored line drawings of like figures, I like them. The cellophane's an interesting touch. He told me it was the most two-dimensional stuff he had done in a while. I haven't seen his earlier stuff, but I'd be very interested to see his more three-dimensional stuff. I give it a thumbs up.